Hello, welcome to this weekly live. Today we're gonna be discussing on does alcohol make you fat or make you gain fat? And so to reframe this, I name it like that because it will just catch more attention. But basically, what I wanted to discuss really was a alcohol beyond its calorie content. And I make a reel 2 days ago about alcohol, just making fun of the whole topic. But in here, I'm just want to explain alcohol, how we can still lose body fat. Or still reach our fitness goals even when consuming alcohol, but very important to know what the limitations are and what the side effects of maybe abusing from alcohol and taking its calorie content out of foods that will benefit you better than alcohol could long-term impact your body fat loss goals. However, not all the time. Now, I'm gonna get back into take the photo off, choose different asset. I believe it's this. No. Okay, so this photo was meant to be a little bit smaller, but basically in here, I'm just gonna take it off because it's not working. Stop sharing. There you go. Here I am. So back on alcohol. So as you all know, there are three main macronutrients and endless micronutrients into our diet. I discussed that on the other live with regards carbs. But another macronutrient that normally people do not take into consideration oftentimes will be alcohol. And so the same as protein and carbs give us 4 calories per gram and the fats gives us 9 calories per gram, the alcohol is considered to give us 7 calories per gram of per milliliter of the liquid. Most of these calories we know they are empty calories because although as they claim to the red wine to have amazing antioxidant properties, in reality the main component of red wine is still sugar and still is alcohol, and the antioxidants that we need, I think we can find better sources than the ones found in alcohol. Now, the point in here is, does alcohol make me gain fat? And the answer to that will be no. Alcohol does not make you gain fat. However, what will make you gain fat is the side effects of consuming alcohol and how these impact stuff such as the total energy that you are consuming. So we all know about the energy balance equation. Although energy balance is not all about calories in and calories out, we need to consider metabolic adaptations, we need to consider lifestyles, stressors, and many other things. But in theory, calorie balance is calories in versus calories out. So if you wanna lose fat, you should be on a deficit, and if you want to maintain, you should be on a maintenance, and if you want to gain weight, you should be on a surplus. Now, all those numbers are very individual to you, and I can be the same size as someone else, but even then my numbers could be totally different to that person because my lifestyle is very different to that other person, and stuff like this is what makes these numbers irrelevant. Once you have found your numbers, the number is just a guide. The changes of your body around that guide is what will tell you more about those numbers. Now, getting back into the energy balance, when we consume alcohol, and as I was gonna show you on this picture here, I don't think I can bring it up, but basically in this picture, they were just comparing what alcohol equals to, just in simple terms. But in here, obviously, you cannot see. I will post it. I don't think I can find another way of posting it. Stop sharing. But basically, very easily you can just eat a whole burger and fries on a night out drinking, and not only you will eat the equivalent of calories to that meal, but then after you will of course lead into the most common action after a night out drinking will be the overnight dinner out, and follow to that will be next day hangover food choices. Yeah, but I'm gonna dig into that in a bit. Now, getting back into the energy balance, oftentimes, now here I'm not trying to say that I don't drink. I don't particularly choose to drink because I don't enjoy it. It doesn't make me any happier, or it doesn't make me enjoy the night any better than if I'm not drinking. But if I decide to drink, let's say we are in a dinner in a restaurant, very likely I'm gonna be either drinking white wine or prosecco. I will do anyway, and I'm not gonna be thinking that I'm gonna get fat or anything like that. However, I do have a very strong sense of knowing when to stop. In the past, when I used to drink, I definitely did not have that sense, and once I have one drink in, I will continue drinking, and that's very likely what happened to most of the people. Now, for my clients, so the ladies that I coach are busy ladies who wants to be in shape, who wants to have a better relationship with their nutrition, so they can be more productive at their job, have their body dream goals, etc. Their body goals, dream, anyway, you got it. And obviously I'm expecting from these ladies to also have a social life, and therefore I'm expecting from most of them to enjoy a night out drinking. So most of the times we have heard, and I actually apply this myself depending on who I'm talking with. Depending on the client that I'm talking with, I will be very likely say something like, under that night that you're gonna be drinking, make sure that per every glass of alcohol you take a glass of water. That is one of the tactics I use, aiming to still give them the freedom to go out drink, but sort of kind of tricking your head and your body as well into how much liquid you can actually consume that night. And the good side to this is that as you drink, we know that the side effects of drinking is that it causes dehydration. It just basically helps the body to get rid of water faster. Not for you to take if you are thinking, if you are bloated or anything like that. But dehydration is one of the side effects of drinking. So if you were consuming good amount of water while you were drinking, you could avoid one of these side effects. Plus, again, you just trick in your mind to drink less, because very likely when you start drinking, you just continue drinking just for the sake of you have been enjoying the conversation, or you just have something to sip in. So that could be an alternative. Another method that I use with some of my clients, again, some of them, and I'm not intending to use any restrictions, but some of them I might say, if you know that you're gonna have a night out drinking, let's see how we can balance it out on your meal before your night out of drinking, so we can actually kind of like make it up for the calories extras that you're gonna be consuming. Whether that is that we're gonna be focusing more on protein and fiber coming from greens, vegetables, and fruits, and trying to avoid for that dinner like dense carbs, and sort of taking the carbs energy to then use it in favor of the energy that you will be drinking. However, when does this become a bad practice? It becomes a bad practice when we do it on let's say 4 days out of the 7 days of the week, or when we do it like when we just get this on a weekly practices. And why is it not recommended when you are doing it too often during the week? First, if you're drinking that much, that many days a week, definitely at some point it's gonna impact your fat loss or fitness goals, because many other things will get impacted. And second, you should definitely reach out for support, because drinking should be something that you do social. I don't think someone has the luxury to have 4 social days on a weekly basis. And if you are finding yourself drinking alone, that's definitely not a normal behavior. So drinking should be something that you do social. And yes, sometimes having a glass of wine, half glass of wine before sleeping should be enough. And some people does it as a kind of trick in the body to wind off. but of course I'm talking here when we are discussing about big numbers of drinks in the same night. Moving to the point that I want to make. So the calories in, calories out equation, everyone knows it. That alcohol brings is empty calories. Why do we say that alcohol is empty calories? We say that alcohol is empty calories because, as the name says, they are calories that are not contributing anything towards your protein intake, carb intake, or your fat intake, and instead is calories that you are adding on, that you're not even considering as something that will make you full. Like one of the biggest, in fact, not talking about alcohol, but just talking drinking calories in general, I highly advise my clients when starting to sort out the nutrition they are implementing, the first thing that I say is do not drink your calories. And with this, what I'm wanting to say is stuff like juices and stuff like sugary drinks and alcohol, or anything that is drinkable in a drinkable form that provides you calories, you should avoid it, because if fat loss is your goal, what you're trying to do with your nutrition, or what your goal should be with your nutrition while you are in deficit, is trying to find the highest volume foods possible, and as well trying to find means and ways to make you feel fuller for longer. And so one of those means and ways will be consuming your calories while you chew. So chewing is a very big factor whether for you to feel fuller or for longer, or for you to actually understand that you have just consumed some calories. And this is why oftentimes things like a Starbucks, mochaccino, something like that, when you actually look into the calorie content, you will be surprised to find out that the calorie almost equal a whole day of eating. There are some cases in which those coffees, they have so much sugar and fats in shapes of creams and etc. that you cannot believe how many calories you just drinking in there, to then feel even more hungrier because you haven't chewed any food. And because you haven't chewed any food, then your body will breaking down these calories really easy. That will lead you to feel hungrier sooner. Now, if we then look into how alcohol impact recovery and sleep, so we know is known that, or if you don't know, alcohol will impair the capacity of your body to absorb the nutrients of the meal that you had previous to the alcohol intake, or while you were intaking some alcohol. So therefore, that is already something that will impair your recovery, because if you're not able to use the energy properly from the foods that you are eating, you won't be able to recover. And alcohol, again, will not provide you with energy or anything that will recover your muscles from the workout. Now, if we look into the sleep, oftentimes people drink, or oftentimes people who have suffered from sleeping disorders like myself, but I haven't went into drinking, but oftentimes people who struggle with sleep believe that drinking something before going to sleep will ease them down into falling to sleep. And just because they fall asleep after drinking, they believe that they actually having a good quality of sleep. But in reality, alcohol, although we believe is a sedative, because the first effect of alcohol when we drink is that it calms us down, is actually an stimulant. And as a stimulant, what it does is that when you actually fall asleep out of drinking, you're just going into kind of a sedation mode. But in that sedation mode, you don't reach to get any deep sleep or any REM sleep. Your body is just literally out of it. But you're not doing any job on the deep sleep, which is the part of the sleep that recovers your physical body from the job you did on the day or the workouts that you did on the day. And then the REM sleep, which is the part that repairs the brain, and that is actually the one that gets most affected with when you consume alcohol before sleeping. So going to the second way how alcohol impairs your recovery is because if you cannot sleep properly, if you're not able to absorb the nutrients from the food that you are having, you're only gonna leave yourself in a state in which you're just catching up from life. And then the next day when you wake up hungover, what you're gonna do to make yourself feel better, perhaps you might reach out to a cup of coffee and you're just playing around with your adrenal fatigue, your cortisol. But I will dig into that later in another live. What I wanted to see here is again how then alcohol impacts our behaviors. So again, let's say that you went out on a night drinking and that you are very clear that you are in a fat loss process or in a body composition process or in whatever fitness goal you are, because this impacts both ways, whoever wants to lose weight and whoever wants to lose fat and whoever wants to gain weight. Because if it impairs recovery, it will affect any of the fitness goals that you will have. But the main impact that alcohol has, name it energy balance, I don't care about that. Name it not recovering from the workout, let's say, I don't care about that. You don't absorb the energy from the nutrients that you are having, let's say, I don't care about that. Of course I care about all of that, but let's say I don't care about all of that. What will be the massive it's the same as when people said, oh, I am taking medication for this pain, or I'm taking medication for mental health, or I'm taking anti-conceptive pills and they made me gain weight. And in reality, the pill itself, whether that is your illness, and the same with alcohol, the fact of consuming that pill or consuming the alcohol is not the reason why you will put on weight. Yes, there might be an element of water retention which will make you physically gain weight on the scale, but we well know that the water weight fluctuates a lot throughout the month and throughout the day and throughout the week. So let's not pay attention to that. But besides the water retention from the alcohol or the drugs, what really makes a difference for you to pack up on body fat is the change on your behaviors that follows to that intake of alcohol or that drug intake. Now here I'm just gonna focus on alcohol and what would be the most common change on behaviors when you consume alcohol. So let's say you are out in a night out with your friends and you got really drunk, and then what's the next thing that you're gonna do? You're then gonna stop into the first McDonald's or into the first kebab or into the first fast food place that you can find, and definitely at that point of the night you either are not conscious anymore, or definitely you're not gonna have any sense of judgment of what foods you are consuming and how much food you are consuming. So very likely you will end up overindulging over the wrong foods for the night, then fall asleep, the next day wake up with a very bad hangover, which will lead you to completely be like a vegetable, which will then be reflected in your activity levels of the next day be massively reduced. So we all know that if we want to keep ourselves active, we should be aiming to a movement on a daily basis across the same day of anything between 8 to 12,000 steps for some people, less for some, more for some, is depending on you, but the goal is the same. So on the day after, you still hungover, you still feeling pretty rough from the night before, you still are going to be very likely inclined to order takeaways because you cannot be asked to cook, and those takeaways are very likely going to be packed again on more calories. So not only we consume the calories from the drink, the alcohol that we were consuming at night, but the takeaway that we might barely remember that we consume at night, and then the day after we are gonna go again for less favorite food choices, and very likely we're gonna be bed bounded or very minimal activity, and then all of this together will be the perfect cocktail for you to start your week non-recovered, not rested, and kind of feeling like you always having to take a cup of coffee for you to be able to run your day. So I hope this was somehow useful. I hope that you actually learned something from this life. And my main message is that not alcohol will not make you fat. It's the behaviors that you take around the times that you drink and the actions that you take around the time that you drink that will eventually make you gain fat. So no, you don't have to quit on alcohol, but my advice will be definitely be more aware of how much alcohol you are drinking and ask yourself, do I really need to get pissed off, like totally pissed at night, or am I okay just with 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cups and then cutting there? If losing fat, or if you have a fitness goal or any body composition goal, yes, we cannot be blind to the fact that alcohol at some point will make your goals stall. And the faster you make a relationship with alcohol, the faster you will see results. See you later. Bye-bye.